Welcome to Friday Night Fashion. I'm Amanda Wakeley.
I'm Jo Elvin. And last week was brought to you by wine. This week is brought to you by champagne and cake.
Because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Jo.
That's the key, just add years and then everyone thinks you look amazing.
My great friend in America always does that. She always adds 5 years to her age, and I think it's genius. Yes. But you do look amazing.
Speaking of genius, London Fashion Week.
Amazing. This week we are reviewing London Fashion Week, our top favourites, because we decided actually this was all about what we love rather than what we don't love.
Absolutely. I thought it was it was the 40th anniversary of Fashion Week, so I think maybe perhaps everybody felt a bit of pressure to really bring it. I definitely felt that sometimes, particularly when I was going to the shows a lot, it would be a bit dull at points. I feel like everybody brought their A game, so here's our highlights.
I thought they did too, and I think there was a real element of polish and sophistication. And I know those are two words that don't really sort of gel with London Fashion Week, because it's always thought of as edgy and a laboratory of ideas.
Going to say, I don't think it lost its edge.
It didn't lose its edge, but it gained a level of polish and professionalism that I think has done our city proud.
I completely agree. Go Britain.
Yes. Yeah. Here we go. I mean, the British fashion industry is supposed to be worth £28 billion to the economy.
Bigger than the car industry.
Yeah, so hats off to our amazing designers. Let's kick off with Erdem.
Erdem, absolutely, always stunning. That I was just in love the minute Look One came out, that exquisite sort of sage green. I just think it's gorgeous.
And I went, ooh, that was the colour I was in at school in. And there's something about the colour that you were at school in.
Totally. Mine was bottle green and gold.
And you'll probably never wear it again in your life.
Never.
But having said that, I thought Erdem's show was exquisite. And once again, his use of exquisite fabrics.
Well, as you can see, I mean, he's got a bit of a feather effect there. As you can see, I'm going to be a fan. It's just an easy way to feel a bit fun, a bit glamorous, but look at that detailing on that beautiful length of that. I think a midi length is, easily the most flattering. Look at those. We've got look 10, look 11, completely different shape models, and they look fabulous.
I love the element of glamour and movement that feathers bring. I know we have been spreading feathers around the apartment tonight.
I will hoover before I leave your apartment tonight.
But there's something about the way both feathers and fringing move. It's ultimately flattering and feminine, I think.
Erdem is not the first one that we've seen. We saw a bit of this sort of like skull cap feature on hair, the way to do hair, that I think it's almost like letting the clothes be the hero to the point where everything else is pared back, and you just go all out glamour with that color and those feathers and all of that sophistication.
Absolutely. And he was inspired by Maria Callas.
Yes.
Which I loved. I loved the fact that he was showing in the British Museum.
Again, well, he's done that before, and it's always just so grandiose.
With beautiful. The Elgin marbles, which I know is controversial, but here we go, look 17, and you have got, you've got this sort of, this print that could be Maria Callas, it could be the Elgin marbles.
Exactly.
Absolutely exquisite. A lot of texture, which I think is exquisite. Look 37. We've got feathers that could be a print.
It's so clever. It's breathtaking, actually.
It is. And then he takes it into fringing on look 38. I always loved a bit of fringing because the way it moves.
I used to work with a fashion editor who that was her phobia, was fringing, which is problematic for this season because there's a lot of it about.
Well, you see, my phobia is buttons.
Really?
Oh my God, don't even show me a button. So that's why when Burberry showed all those beautiful duffel coats, oh, heaven. But we're on Erdem at the moment. Look 39, can we just
Well, that's
on?
classic Erdem, isn't it? Just like really sculpted, really bodice fitting, absolute like exquisite detail on all that sequining and
I love the fact that he's put all of the construction on the outside and highlighted it. So you've got this exquisite, very simple crew neck, sleeveless lace gown, but then you've got all the sequins on there, the seams on the outside, the opera gloves.
Those opera gloves are...
And then these bonkers shoes.
Yeah, we love a bonkers shoe. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But those opera gloves are... I love how long they are. They're almost like armour.
They are.
It's really an interesting detail.
They are.
I think a lot of people will be a bit afraid of that. You're really going to have to do your weights to wear those. The baking bread thing coming out the top on that, do you? And I think that that's a risk for all of us concerned.
So let's go on to Roksanda.
This was a super interesting show.
Absolutely. I loved her use of texture and crafting. I mean, for me, Roksanda designs for a tall woman. She is a tall woman, and I think she designs for a tall, artsy woman.
Yeah.
You know, a woman who is not afraid to make a statement, but these are clothes that will last a lifetime.
Which of these would you wear?
Oh, I think I'm absolutely loving
Look 6 is
Look 6.
Incredible. My husband would call that a monk dress, as in, you know, that would be a proper clothes my husband hates, which only makes me love it more.
Now, because it's very covered. It's very covered. You don't show the body at all.
But it's still got that hint of skin that is really sexy. You would absolutely stop traffic. Oh, especially if you wore it with the fit flops and socks. How do we feel about that?
Now, I love this. I love a really beautiful, sexy dress, and that is subversively sexy to me.
It's almost sort of like Gregorian.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It is. And I thought that it was a very, very interesting collab. That FitFlop, which is known for its ergonomics,
Very good for you.
It's very good for you. But then in Roksanda's hands, suddenly they become really cool
and edgy.
And edgy. And then you put a sock on with it. It's unexpected, and I think it's very clever for both brands.
I have always been a major fan of a sock and an open toe, to the point where I got shamed on This Morning for saying as such. I really liked, I can't remember the name of this weird, almost cartoonish boot that FitFlop also did for Roksanda. You know, like the closed toe, sort of like chunky ones. They're like a mule, but they're more substantial. They've got like a platform on them.
Now, look 15 to me was just exquisite. I mean, that is Greek goddess, super modern though. It's got elements of Madame Grey, elements that just exquisite sort of parchment color, the satin, I suppose because of my love of satin.
Yeah.
But the cut on that is absolutely sublime.
Do you know what? I can see that objectively it's beautiful. It's just, I would never pick that out as like, it would never stand out to me that.
Oh, wow. And the parachuting of the train of that is absolutely exquisite. But that's probably a personal thing, but just because I love satin.
To me, Roksanda is more look 19, 20, 21. Weird. One of my favorite things about Roksanda is she opens my brain to colors that I would never have thought to put together. She's always a genius at that.
She's a genius colorist. I totally agree with you. The way she puts colors together is extraordinary and unexpected, and yet it works. And she does these amazing, I would say very artsy
Look,
prints.
21. I mean, sorry, I'm such a pragmatist. Look, 21. I can have a pasta in that. That's great. Honestly,
because the belly can just...
you're just hiding in that, and yet it's still so glamorous.
It's so glamorous, so chic. I'd like to be wearing that in 20 years' time.
Well, you would though. You would. Yeah. Holding court, like everybody coming to you because you're the most stylish woman in the land.
You can see Iris Apfel wearing that, can't you?
And well, I'm a mega fan of Iris Apfel. Anything Iris is wearing, I want to wear.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now let's have a look. Look, 24, I think is really interesting.
So you've got these sort of panniers.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I think...
Is this actually going to go into production, something like this?
I don't know, but I can see it on the red carpet.
Yeah.
with a very brave.
That's a Met Gala.
Yes, it's a Met Gala.
Incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Simone Rocha.
Simone Rocha. Sheer huge trend coming through, and it was really, really massive at Simone.
She's just come from her beautiful collaboration with Jean-Paul Gaultier Couture. And I thought, how right and how visionary was that collaboration? I thought, I was really excited to see someone of her talent and vision and taste level doing Gaultier Couture.
And she's just the thing about Simone Rocha as well, on a personal level, she's so unassuming, she's quite shy, like almost the antithesis of like that Gaultier, like out there thing. So I'm pleased for her.
She's her father's daughter, isn't she? And John Rocha was very much my era of fashion.
But honestly, look 3 I think is my favorite. I really want that blazer. Is it? Yeah, with that metallic detail on the right. Oh, crystal detail. I love it.
On the boobies.
And if you don't have them, you can sort of like still have something going on there. But I think one of my favorite things was the beauty detail of the crystal pearl eyebrows.
Absolutely
gorgeous.
Yeah. I actually loved, being the sports luxe girl that I am, look 4, and this wonderful midnight taffeta, very sporty parka, but with this sort of corseting in the waist.
Really clever. Amazing colour.
And I also thought her use of fake fur, look 9, adding that sort of panel of fake fur onto this gorgeous organza, very diaphanous, sheer, exquisite, and then you've got this sort of panel of almost Game of Thrones shearling or fake fur.
How glamorous would you feel wearing that? I mean, honestly, I would put that over what I'm wearing right now, a pair of jeans, and I just think it would be amazing. Don't you think? It would be kind of like just weird and wrong, but sort of work.
I know, and I think that's the thing I love about her.
Yeah.
Some of it is sort of weird and wrong, but it's just exquisite and it does work. Look, 15. Look, you've got
those eyebrows. I love again.
You've got those beautiful, almost tattoo-like eyebrows. I don't know who did the makeup.
Do it.
Then this veil of organza and the bag worn under the organza, I think, really exquisite looking. What I didn't get was the furry toys.
Well, look, what I'll say is, you brought it up, we're talking about it. It's like, it reminds me, what was it a few seasons ago where Alessandro at Gucci, everyone was walking around with their head or a little pretend dinosaur. It's just, he made it a thing. It's a thing.
Yep, exactly. So clever in that sense.
There's definitely, you mentioned Game of Thrones before, there's definitely sort of like an armory vibe coming through in a lot of these collections. And I feel like it's here as well, that sort of like almost, I don't know, that old world medieval kind of like suit of armor protection.
Well, look at look 32, and you've got this extreme corsetry through into the coat, and you've got that lacing detail, which I think is truly beautiful. I get the feeling that Simone has been inspired by working with couture.
Yes. And Gaultier, I mean, because that's, is very sort of like that sculptured kind of like snug in detail on things. I love this dress. I love it. I love it.
This is look 31.
Yeah.
And I have to say, because I have a question in my podcast, Crocs, cute or puke, these are the extreme fabulousness of Crocs. Look at these.
Funny you said it, because I remember you asking me that on your podcast, and I've always been an absolute refusenik when it comes to Crocs.
But, hello.
I'm afraid it's this pair in this look that have recalibrated my head.
I totally agree. I mean, it's coming back to that sort of fugly shoe, isn't it?
Well, you know what? If you don't like a fugly shoe, you're really fucked this season, to be honest, because that's all there is.
There's one more look that I absolutely loved here, and it was look 40.
I mean, you're not going to mess with that chick, are you?
It's goth, it's Game of Thrones. She's got this incredible eyebrows.
She's a Victorian schoolmarm who's arrived from planet Zog, and I'm not going to argue with her. She's incredible.
But she's a dominatrix.
She's incredible.
Absolutely. So, Simone, well done. Really well done.
Top notch.
Let's just go briefly on to someone who's getting a lot of attention is Paola Kazana. I'm going to get that wrong.
Isn't it interesting as well that how multicultural London Fashion Week is?
Completely.
It's fabulous, actually.
So Paolo Kazana, to me, has that sort of early Galliano.
Yes.
Early Lee McQueen.
This look 3, sort of like that, those lovely folds, that billowing.
It's almost
like
that sort of
extravagant
pirate vibe.
Yeah.
And I thought look 4 was exquisite. And it's just the ultimate of cool. Yeah, look at that tattoo. I mean, it's just sort of all perfect, isn't it?
Help an old-fashioned magazine editor out. Is that women's wear, or is it just unisex wear?
Do you know what? I think there's so much now that is completely gender fluid, and I love that.
I do too.
My original cashmere boyfriend sweater was inspired by wearing your boyfriend's sweater, and then I put the satin in the sleeves. So
beautiful.
So I love things that move. You know, Army Parkers.
Yeah.
Why can't we be wearing them? Absolutely. So yes, I think a great look, and apparently a lot of eyes on this designer. You know, Hermes, LVMH, they're all looking at him. So good luck. Let's hope.
Amazing. Watch this space.
Watch this space. So let's have a quick look at Richard Quinn, who had the late Queen at a show early days, didn't he?
And now I feel like he's quite channeling the first Elizabeth, our Queen Elizabeth I. They're all their sort of like almost medieval kind of like ruffling and things like that. I love it.
Very much so. I mean, super, super creative designer. Clearly, I would say from this show, channeling the bridal vibe.
Yeah, or the bridal market.
The bridal market.
He's not silly.
He's not. And do you know what? I think what I love about London Fashion Week now to London Fashion Week 30 years ago is these guys get the commercial angle.
Yeah, they've become business people as well. And there's no shame in that. I think there used to be a shame in having a business savvy, but it's a huge part. It's you know, you've got to make a living, right? You've got to actually sell your clothes.
Yeah.
I love this show, and I don't know, I just love, I forgot what I was going to say.
I love this show. I love some of this corsetry is exquisite. I know you were saying that sort of channeling the Queen vibe, but look at some of that corsetry.
I know what I was going to say. I think that it's interesting. A few other people have commented that in difficult times, fashion tends to go more romantic. And that seems to be definitely what's going on here. It's fantasy, it's meringue, it's joy, it's glamour, it's prettiness. And
and serious craft too. Really serious craft. So good on him. Right, let us move on to, I think, someone who we both absolutely love, appreciate, and think is really a genius. He's got a zeitgeist, and that is J.W. Anderson.
J-Dobbs. Oh my God, the man has a stranglehold on my wardrobe.
Does he now?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, to me, being the knitwear girl that I am, I think and so much of this is exquisite knitwear.
Just so covetable.
It is, and I love the fact, look, he starts off with skeins of yarn crafted into this dress. It's bonkers, but I think it just sets the tone and says, I own this.
Apparently inspired by a sort of like 1970s vision of Britain, over the back fence, last of the summer wine.
Yes.
You know, sort of like, Hilda Ogden, all of those things. Although one of my favourite things was all the grey curly wigs, which I think must have in part been inspired by my friend, the fashion editor of the Times,
Anna Murphy.
I just think, surely.
Yeah. Also, we're back to fugly shoes.
I kind of feel like I'm going to just give in and get a pair of those.
They are going to have a moment,
wear them
aren't
with
they?
a skirt.
So these are furry, sheepskin, square-toed little booties.
And then I'm going to really upset my husband by pairing them with a sock.
What I'm loving in look 5 is this sweater dress, but it's corseted. Look at the seaming on that.
It's so clever, isn't it? And we've been seeing a lot of this sort of like exaggerated, like, you know, the big shoulders, the cinched in waist. Well, there's something in New York that we saw that as well. There's like, that's obviously a real thing coming through, that's sort of like almost hiding in your clothes.
Yes, and these lovely rounded cocoon sleeves. I mean, that to me is a sweatshirt, a grey sweatshirt on steroids. It's not a grey sweatshirt, but that's the inspiration of it.
But I love that with that cut and that length of that dress, that particularly in the yellow in look 6, that's a red carpet vibe as well.
A brave one.
I promise you, it's going to happen.
I mean, it will.
I will stake my claim.
Okay.
Yeah.
More likely in the Brits to me than the Oscars.
But I think if you really dressed it up, although these, look at this, that's fantastic.
And to me, I think Jonathan Anderson can, you know, he combines these exquisite, comfortable pieces like that cocoa cashmere sweater in look 13. No, I'm not going to be wearing it with the ribbon skirt. It's a fantastic catwalk look. It seriously wouldn't be disappointing, I promise you. But I think, I mean, how much do we just want that sweater in our wardrobe?
So badly, in every colour. Particularly that chocolate, that's gorgeous.
Exquisite. And then in that baby
love the garlanded
pink.
I said it last week, this is where my old magazine editor thing kicks in. I would be rushing to have that garlanded sort of like ribbon skirt for a fashion shoot with a celebrity. I would love that.
Yeah. I mean, these are clothes for editorial, or the catwalk, or sorry, the red carpet. But there are also elements in them that in these looks that you just know are just going to go straight into the stores and they're just going to sell out.
This one, look number 26, slightly reminds me of our Princess of Wales's see-through dress that she wore when Prince William fell in love with her at St Andrews.
Interesting. I hadn't seen that, but I know what you mean. I just love the combination of textures here.
Those tassels are very cheekily placed. I love that.
Tassels cheekily placed. The whole twisting of the mousseline.
I might choose a slip to wear under that, but a braver soul may not.
I would hope you might choose a slip to wear under that. But I think, you know, double clap.
The stripy knit's probably my favourite.
Yeah.
Just from a purely commercial, wearable, wantable, absolutely gorgeous.
So a double clap. Burberry. We've got to. We couldn't do London Fashion Week without Burberry, could we?
Well, you know, under old Christopher, it really put London back on the map.
It really did. And I think Daniel Lee is doing an extraordinary job of reinventing it yet again. And I mean, it's not an easy task
it's
to
a horrible
keep
job.
reinventing.
You've got heritage, but you've got to move on. And everybody has an opinion because it is such a British heritage brand.
Well, everyone slightly owns a bit of it, don't they? Somehow. There's a real possessiveness about, you know, we want Burberry to excel. We're very proud of it.
Absolutely.
It's part. I have to say, look 3, I am loving these kilts, these floor length kilts.
Like Maxine.
I mean,
really, really clever.
I just want that look immediately. But also these duffel coats.
I'm into the boots.
And these boots, how clever are they? And also look 5, look at those zips on those pants. That was the standout
for me. I mean, with my dad's knees, it's not going to happen. But I love.
You're in good company.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. But, you know, those are double-ended zips. You choose where you're going to...
Oh, that's true. So I could sort of have a bit of a peekaboo ankle. My ankles are better than my hands.
You could have a bit of a peekaboo shin.
Yeah.
I also love how he's played with the plaid. So you've got the bias plaid
Yep.
on look 7.
Because that's the thing. It's, obviously it had a few wilderness years, poor old Burberry, with the plaid becoming a little bit
overexposed, let's put it that way.
The wrong connotations. But I love that there's always a way to subvert it and reinvent it.
Yep. Absolutely.
And yet it's still unmistakably Burberry.
Absolutely. I mean, look 23.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That could walk straight off the catwalk into the store and out again. Into my wardrobe, in my dreams.
Have a look at. I did think that the guys wearing the scarves on their heads was a bit of a Grey Gardens vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Going on that sort of like faded grandeur, which I guess is another British theme. But yeah,
I get that. I think there were moments where it got a little bit lost. Look,
we
40,
love Cole, but that's not
41.
particularly interesting, is it?
It really isn't.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it was necessary in the show, but that's me. I mean, I love look 44. How cool is that? To me, that's the ultimate sort of urban.
Those trousers are so great, and I love that is another sort of like gender fluid.
Yeah,
moment.
that would be as good on a woman as a man, and I love that. And again, look 43, we're seeing that floor length leather trench that came through so strongly in New York, and
there's no quiet luxury here. It's just luxury.
It is. It is, and the scale of the bags. We've been talking about these massive oversized bags, and they do them well. I'm loving look 49.
That is beautiful.
Again,
is that velvet?
You've got that fringing. Is it velvet or is it a print? It's hard to tell, but it feels like,
so that we can see what the fabric are.
Yeah, the lighting in some of the shows,
Yeah.
I have to say, I struggle with. But look at this, a shearling duffel coat. I mean,
that is, that's a showstopper.
With the chunky boots, with the slip dress underneath, I just think.
I love how every season fashion seems to get more and more and more, I'd say, egalitarian in that way, with that sort of like anything goes together.
Yeah.
A red carpet dress with a pair of flip-flops. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No. And closing the show on a sort of a belted leather jacket with this floor length.
That's rather 50 Shades Red Room, isn't it? Really cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. I have to say, London, you really brought it. I really think that was one of the best overall, consistently great London Fashion Weeks I've seen in some time.
I totally agree. Really proud to be British. Really proud to be waving the London Fashion Week flag. And here's to London.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy birthday. Well done, London. Fantastic.
Happy anniversary to London.
40th anniversary, and we'll see you next week with Milano.